Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the video. Welcome to my garage. As you can see in this video, I'm finally going to be painting Wratchet. I believe everything's ready to go. I've got all my mixing containers set up, ready to go upstairs to mix the paint. Let me run you around and just show you a couple of the prep things that I did, and then I'm just gonna kind of set the camera up in the corner and just do a time lapse as I spray the paint. So I just ran around and wiped all of the panels with some acetone just to get any of my finger oils off of the panels when I was setting everything up. You can see that in most places I don't have the body washers. The panels are just kind of loosely hanging there. But in a couple of places, what I did do is I just have a piece of rubber hose in there, and then the screw in there. When the screw goes in there, the screw kind of mushrooms it, just to hold the panels in place. But I don't have too many of those in place. You see just a couple of them, but the fender washers that go on there are kind of wide, so any marks that these leave, the fender washers should cover those. And then you can see I have everything covered in plastic over everything. I did take the wing off to give myself a little bit more access. Took the seats out, seat belts. There are some parts of the chassis like this that I didn't tape or anything because some of the places where the panels are real close, I didn't want there to be any chance of any plastic or tape or anything interfering with that, which I'm not really worried about getting paint on the chassis because once I paint these, I'm going to take these off and start the process of painting the chassis anyways. So I'm really not worried about that. But there are a couple places where I taped it off to try to protect it a little bit. And of course I've got plastic over almost everything to protect it. You know, there's plastic. What I did is just draped plastic over this whole thing and then just put the one-piece front end on there. And then I've pulled out all of the vehicles, so I don't have to worry about the vehicles. I've got the garage door there cracked. I'll have my exhaust fans up on the loft, pulling air out that way. And as long as it's not breezy, I'll have this side door open. And then I created a plastic curtain. Where is it? Right here, which is protecting my welders and all of my tools just so that I don't get overspray over all of that stuff. But I think I should be ready to go. So once I start the paint process, I'm not going to want to mess too much with the camera because I'm going to be hyper focused on getting all that right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set the camera up off to the side here where it's not in any direct overspray, and I'll just try to get a time lapse to show me spraying it, and then when I have everything sprayed on there, then I'll pick up the camera and we can take a look and see how it seems like it went. All right, guys. There she is. Paint is on. Right off the bat, I like it. I think it looks great. I'm really excited with the way that it came out. Are there some imperfections? Frickin' right there are. There's a lot of imperfections. There's a lot of areas where it could have been better. But for me, just painting that in a day in my garage for a Baja, it looks really good. I love that color. Let me pop the camera off the tripod and I'll walk you guys around, show you a couple of things that I should have done differently, but let's take a look. So I'm happy with the blend. The yellow turned into green as it met. Good Lord. It's very super duper windy out here. All right. Actually, with as windy it is out here, let me pull in our cars in case we get any hail. Okay, now we're back. I got all the vehicles in so I don't have to worry about hail. Brought the wife out to show her the paint job and the dogs, of course. So what I was talking about, I can't remember. Actually, I don't remember what I was talking about. So let me show you the goods and the bads, but just remember that overall I'm very, very happy with how this came out. But if I'm going to nitpick the small things, which I am, here's what I ran into. The blending here, and of course I did the blue first, and then I brought the yellow in, and where the yellow overlaps the blue, it turns into this green, which I really, really like. My fade there is good. I like that. It's a little choppy, but it's a Baja. I'm perfectly happy with that. But what it doesn't do is when that yellow hits the solid blue, it doesn't mix at all, and I know that from my test piece. So what I did is I brought the yellow right up to the blue, but then I didn't go any farther than that. So it does give a little bit crisper of a division there than what I would like, but again, I'm perfectly happy with that. Same thing up on the roof. I've got the blend. It's a little bit choppy, and then a little bit of a rigid line there where the two meet. With that, I don't know that there's anything I can do about that. Maybe if I continue experimenting and find a blue that it blends with more, maybe, I don't know. That's going to be tough though, because I really, really, really like that blue. I love the color, and the actual paint itself, this blue sprays so easy, it's ridiculous. So then another issue I had, I'm not 100% sure. In some of these areas, when I was coming in with the yellow, if the yellow got too wet, it would actually start breaking down the blue. Actually, there's a spot on the other side here. If you look right here, it was actually breaking down that blue, and it was starting to pull it down a little bit. Obviously, I'm nitpicking at this point, but I think if I would have given myself a little bit more curing time from when I sprayed the blue till I came at it with the yellow, it probably would have been better. I didn't really give it any curing time. I shot the blue, and then I started mixing the yellow. There was probably 15 minutes between there. I don't know. I think I'm splitting hairs at that point. So the colors went on really well. I was really happy with those. The clear was actually the worst part. If you look, you'll see that it's more of a matte finish than a gloss. There's some areas where I got the gloss, like right here. That clear is nice and thick, and I got a good gloss in there. But I just couldn't see through the damn, I don't know, it was worse on the yellow than the blue, but I was spraying it on there, and I couldn't tell if it was too light or too thick. And of course, you're scared to death of going too thick because you don't want a bunch of runs. And as it is, I think, I already looked around, I think there's only one run right there. I got a little too thick, and I think that's really the only spot, so I'm not too worried about that. I mean, as I'm walking around, you can see that it's glossy, but it's not, like, if you look, you can see it's a little bit blotchy. And I guess if that really bothers me, now that I have the color on there, I could always take these panels off, lay them horizontal, get better lighting all around them, and give it a better clear. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I got enough clear on the yellow here to protect it. So, you know, by the time I get the windshield and the light bar and the fenders and the mirrors and some decals and some dirt, I don't think you're even going to notice. I mean, I want this to be nice, but at the end of the day, it's a Baja. So what you're going to see now is when I'm setting up the camera, you're going to find me hanging off to the side of the frames, because now that Wratchet is finally painted, I'm going to want him to be the center of attention, especially this fluorescent. Damn. It's got that blue speckled in there too. I purposely, when I was spraying it, I was throwing a lot of the blue forward. If you look at it here, there's actually a lot of the blue speckles in here, which now is green. So it's not really like, it's only like pure fluorescent yellow in the front. Everything from like here on back has got so much speckle in it that it almost has like, it's almost got like a green tint to it. Which I was doing that on purpose because the radio controlled cars are the same way. I would throw some of that blue forward to give it a little bit of that speckle. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give this a couple of days just to cure before I even try to take any of these panels off, just so that I don't cause any damage to any wet spots or anything like that. Once they're dry enough that I can take them off, I'm going to set them to the side, and then I'm going to start the project of taking everything off Wratchet so that I can paint his frame. So I believe the next video is going to be probably just taking some stuff off and painting the frame, and then after that I can start the final assembly. I know a lot of you guys probably think that this looks ridiculous, but I'm telling you, I love that fluorescent. I love that I was able to get some blue in there, that I was able to get some of it to mix, and that it looks like my radio controlled cars, because that for some reason makes the kid in me feel like a kid, I guess. I don't know. Also, you'll notice I completely forgot to put my mask on for the blue. The blue is an enamel, and it has like barely any odor, so I didn't even think about it. As soon as I pop the top off the fluorescent, it's a urethane, and that's got a lot of stink. And the clear coat's got a good amount of stink too, so I definitely had the mask on for those. But don't call me out too bad for not having the mask on with the blue. If it would have been really, really stanky, I would have put the mask on. I just forgot. So anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope it's helping you with whatever projects you might be working on, or maybe just entertaining you a little bit. And I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.